So Snapchat was a pioneering new way of using social media, with its content disappearing after 24 hours on a story timeline. And it didn't take long before Instagram rolling out the same functionality on its own platform, with great success. So with more than 500 million Instagram story views daily, let's take a closer look at how musicians can use the story functionality to generate some more views and visibility on Instagram. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Smartbakken, and in this video I will give you 10 ways musicians can use stories on Instagram. Before I get started, please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more music marketing related videos, just like this one. So it's not only Instagram that's rolled out the story functionality. The same goes for Facebook as well. And in not so distant future, Spotify. Last year, Spotify dropped the news that they were also testing the story functionality, which will add extra value to your album or your single, offering the ability to attach the process of making music or your influences behind while you're presenting your music. So imagine if a fan is listening to you on Spotify, they don't have to move over to your Instagram or your social media platforms to get content from you and get to know you better. They can just check out your story on Spotify and get to know you better there. So onboarding new fans and followers on Spotify will be a lot easier. So to prepare ourselves for the Spotify story functionality, let's play around on Instagram and see the different ways that you as a musician should be using the story functionality on Instagram right now. Number one, we need to talk about the Instagram feed versus the Instagram story. So the Instagram feed is typically used for the more polished content. That's the content that you prepare every week. That's maybe your weekly series of videos that you spend some time creating. While the stories are more the behind the scenes, those are the more instant content that you want to share on a daily basis. Bring your fans into your world where you can share them your behind the scenes and the process. What's going on in the studio? Who's there with you? This is your daily life and what's going on in your life as a musician. So think of the feed as more, the polished TV programs, while the story, that's your reality TV section of your profile. Number two, add music to your stories. So Instagram has a direct integration with Spotify. So if you have a song on Spotify right now, you can then add a story on Instagram, integrate directly, find that song on Spotify, and then play it in the background of your story. And not only that, if you use this integration, Instagram allows a small little player to pop up that you can press on and listen to 1 minute of that song. So if you have optimized for monetization of social media on your distributors like CD Baby and DistroKid, you can actually start generating some revenue through this. And not only that, your music shouldn't only be used on your stories. You can get other people to use your music in their stories. Think of influencers here. They're sharing content on their stories on a daily basis. You can just send them a message and tell them, hey, I've created this perfect song. It's the perfect one when you capture the sunset the next time. Why don't you play this in the background then? And it will make your content even better. So you can essentially spread your music through the stories, and it's directly integrated with Spotify, so it's affecting your streams. And not only that, when you contact these influencers, tell them, do you know that stories with music perform 80% better than without music? Would you mind testing out my music for your content? It fits perfectly in this setting. And I feel that it's a great fit to your audience, as your audience is this, and this. There you have it. There's the pitch. Go send it to 10 influencers. Try build a rapport before though. Number three, engagement tools in the stories. So Instagram actually have a lot of tools for the story that triggers engagement. You, for example, have the poll or the Q&A. You can easily insert this into your content and create engagement with your followers, because the reality of the story sometimes generates even more views than the content that you share on your feed. So by adding these engagement tools into your story, you're making your content even more engaging, and they will interact with you. Instagram loves interactions, and they're measuring all interactions on your platform. If you're generating a lot of interactions on your platform, a lot of clicks, a lot of views, a lot of swipes, a lot of comments, they're going to reward you with visibility. So you can, for example, use a poll and ask your fans whether they liked a part of a song that you make, yes or no. More engagement on your platform, more interactions, leads to more views. Adding engagement tools will lead to more engagement, which will then lead to more views and visibility. Not only that, it's a great way to actually communicate with your fans. And you probably noticed that's where the Instagram bots are hanging out as well. So you get some pretty random answers sometimes if you're running these Q&As. Number 4, geotagging, hashtagging, and location. So last year, I was at Bad Bunny at Ushuaia, and I posted a story from the concert, and I added the location Ushuaia, Ibiza. And suddenly, my story was available on the official, Ushuaia location tag on Instagram, but also Ibiza as well as Spain. So by using some strategic locations on the story sometimes can generate hundreds and thousands of additional views. So I would get, in addition to the hundreds of views that I've already got on my stories, I would sometimes get double by using the location tag in the story. Because if people search different locations on Instagram, the story is a part of that now. So they will then tap into, let's say they're searching Spain. They will then tap into different stories around Spain. So by using the geotag and the location on the stories, you're then opening up your content on the explore section of the locations. So if people search for Spain, you can then be visible on the Spain story. Another way you can mark your story is through hashtags as well, where you can then be visible on the hashtags feeds. Another way of marking your stories is tagging people in your content. So if you tag people in your content, they will get a notification about this, and also the opportunity of sharing your story. So this is how your stories can then be shared by others as well, and maximizing the visibility. And not only that, if they share your story, their visitors can then have a direct entrance into your Instagram profile. So by optimizing your content and tagging some strategic people that is of course relevant to the content, you can then open up your visibility a lot. Number 5, sell your merch. So creating a product sticker and attach it to your story on Instagram can be very effective when it comes to selling merch as a musician. You then will allow your fans to purchase your merch directly through Instagram. Of course, Instagram will take a cut of this, but with the direct entrance to your fans, that cut is well worth it. Over 70% of online shoppers use Instagram to get inspired and to browse new brands to find new purchases. So even though Instagram takes a cut, this will be well worth your time because you're setting up shop where your fans are already hanging out. Number 6, share Twitter snapshots. So a trend that's showing no signs of slowing down is the Twitter snapshot. And the stories are a great way of sharing these snapshots. So basically what it is just a screenshot of your recent tweet. So if you said something inspirational or maybe funny, you can then just create an Instagram post or share it on the story, and it brings a lot of value. This is also a really good way to advertise your other channels as well and move them from one of your rooms on Instagram over to your Twitter or even your YouTube or other channels that you're creating content. 7, Q&A. So sending out a Q&A at a story and then following up with several stories actually answering the Q&A is a great way of generating content for your stories. And it's also a really good way for your fans to really get to know you. So use this tool to really get to know your fans, but not only that, learn from the interaction so you can also give more content of what they like. Ask questions, get feedback, and make them feel heard. The Q&A function is a great way of doing that, because if their question is selected and you're answering that, you're building that connection deeper with especially that fan, but also all the other fans reviewing the story as well. Number 8, share your lyrics. So as Spotify has the integration with Instagram, you can attach your music. Another thing that you can do is also attach your lyrics. So you've probably seen this. So if somebody shares a story using the integration with Spotify, they can then also select to use the lyrics. You just need to make sure your lyrics have been submitted and synced using the platform Musicmatch. This is also a service that delivers to Amazon Music. So Alexa can identify song requests on just a few words. So make sure that your lyrics are synced with Musicmatch. And then you can attach your lyrics to your stories. And you can get influencers to share your lyrics as well. If your music is not published yet, you can even create graphics sharing your lyrics while you're creating the music. And you can even ask for feedback from your fans. 9, user-generated content. So a good exchange with influencers that are creating content regularly is to tell them, if you use my music in your story, tag me and I'll share it on my story as well. So we both get some visibility here and my music also gets heard. So you can have essentially many content creators out there create content for you. They will create a cool video and share it on their story, attaching your music to it. What better promotion and marketing is there than other people listening to your music? That's live testimonials. So user-generated content is basically content other people are sharing, other people have made. So whenever I have nothing to share on my Instagram story, I always go to user-generated content. I scroll my newsfeed, I have some certain accounts that I love their content, and I just share it over to my story. So it's an easy way to share value on your story, and it also engages pretty well. Number 10, countdown to releases. So if you're launching something on this coming Friday, make sure that you use the countdown stickers the weeks before, every once in a while, just to prepare them, to create some buzz. So when you launch your song on the Friday, people are already in line waiting to hear it. So the story is here to stay, and the usage will just continue to grow in the future. And you see it already. New functionalities are being updated to the story on a continuous basis. Instagram is investing heavily here, and it's working. So take advantage of the stories, generate a lot of visibility, engage with your fans, and create some good content. And keep an eye out for Spotify, because soon you'll also be able to create content and share the process and engage with your fans directly on your favorite platform, Spotify. If you like what you see here today, go ahead and click subscribe, and you'll receive free lessons every week that are all music marketing related and music business. Please comment with a really good story idea, and I'll incorporate that in my next video.